Okay, this review here, hopefully you're able to start tearing it up here. The slope here was -2/5. Just copy it. To find the x-intercept, write this without the y. So -3 is equal to, plug in your calculators, 2 divided by 5, you get 0.4. -0.4 x plus 4. And then do your math stuff. So -0.4x. -0.4 times 4 is -1.6. Okay, so there's your first step. Everything's in the calculator. All right, don't worry about the decimals or all that crap. Just punch it in. All right, instead of -1.6, we're going to add it. And be sure you add it all the way over there. Don't add it to that -4x. It's got to be on both sides of the equal sign. So add it to the other side. Okay, so what do we have? -0.4x. Over here I have -3 plus 1.6. If you type that in, you get -1.4. Okay, finally, divide by what's in front of the variable. Divide by -0.4. And you get, hang on, let me check my calculator again. Clear it out, screwed up. Divided by, and I get 3.5. Okay, to find the y-intercept, write it without the x. I'm going to have to do it off to the side a little bit. So write that out without the x. Y minus 3 is equal to -0.4 times 4. And go ahead and do that. And that will tell you the y-intercept. Multiply these, -1.6. That kind of looks familiar, but this is where the familiarity might get lost. Let's add the 3. And that should be 1.4. So y is 1.4. So you kind of see that 1.4 like it was over there, but it's not exactly the same. All right, so there's my x and y-intercept and the slope. Now here is standard form. Remember the slope, you put a negative sign, and then you put this number over that number. And if there's two negatives, that makes a positive. You can just leave your slope as an improper fraction. If you divided it and got 1.2, that'd be fine as well. Okay, on the end of course exam, the EOC, they'll take any equivalent form. You don't even have to reduce. As long as you do the algebra right, you'll be good. So the x-intercept, write it without the y. 6x equals -6. Divide by 6. To find the y-intercept, write it without the x. So you have -5y equals -6. Divide by -5. And that gives me 1.2 there. Okay, if you get a decimal, don't freak out. Just put the decimal. Some of these will come out the decimals. That's fine. It won't be a messy decimal. All the sample items have nice decimals. So I believe they will be nice to you. Okay, for a slope-intercept form, let's see, we have the 1/4, the -5. You can just copy both those. 1/4 is the slope, -5 is the y-intercept. And then to find the x-intercept, write it without the y. So 0 equals 1/4. Divide the fraction out, you get 0.25. Okay, let's see. To get rid of -5, I'm going to add 5. Or both sides of that equal sign. And then divide by 0.25. That gives you, when you divide by a decimal, it makes the number bigger. So when you get that 20, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Okay, so what is new for today? We are sometimes, and this will be basically the last thing they can give us, they're sometimes given 2 points. If you find 2 points, there are a couple steps you need to go through to find the intercepts. Okay? So let me guide you through this one, and then you can try something on your own and actually have a sample question from the EOC at the end there. So, first you need to find the slope. Well, we've done this before. To find the slope, the y's go on top. So 5 minus 7. And the x-coordinates go on the bottom, 2 minus 6. And I just put them in the order I see them there. Okay, if you switch the order, as long as you're consistent, you're fine, but I just like the order I see there. So when I subtract those, I get negative 2 over negative 4. And if you just divide that, you get 0.5. Okay, you could have one slope, you could reduce to that. You could reduce it to 1 over 2. One slope, 1 over 2. But you could just leave it as 0.5 as well. Okay, so the slope is 0.5. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the first point. I'm going to use the 2, 5. So remember, the 2 is the x-coordinate and the 5 is the y-coordinate. 2 is the x, 5 is the y. So let me come over here. And I'm going to say 2 is the x, 5 is the y. I know the slope is 0.5. So let me give you a second to collect all that. That's all the information we have. Now everything else we're just going to copy from above. So I have y minus, I have an equal sign, I have x minus. Beautiful. Okay, so y minus 5 equals 0.5, and then in parentheses, x minus 2. All right, so now we're going to use this to find our intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, write this without the y. To find the y-intercept, write this without the x. So let me go ahead and start that. The x-intercept here, write it without the y. Negative 5 equals 0.5 times x minus 2. Let's do some magic here. Multiply 0.5x minus 0.5 times 2 is 1. Next we'll add 1. So it'll be negative 4 equals 0.5x. And then divide by what's in front of the letter. Divide by 0.5. You get negative 8 equals x. So the x-intercept is negative 8. Okay, let's go to the right. To find the y-intercept, write it without the x. So write this out, but do not write the x. Okay, I wrote everything except for the x. And then let's do what we see. 0.5 times negative 2, that's negative 1. And then y minus 5, to get rid of minus 5, we're going to plus 5. So the y-intercept is 4. Now that's pretty involved, and you usually won't need to find everything here. The question will ask for a certain thing, and you will do that certain thing. So, for example, in that last problem at the end, it just wants to find the x-intercept. Let me flip this over. Whoops. So you can see here at the end, we have a sample question here. It has 2 points. And then it says find the x-intercept. So you just need to find the x. You don't need to find the y. So you just need to find whatever they're asking you for. Okay? I'm going to go back up to the top here. Go ahead and try this first one out. I will work it out in a minute, and then we can see how you're doing.